Get us in the wilderness, purge out the rebels. So tired of hurrying up all these cases, we got several. A nation that was chosen, we could never get it right. We did evil in his eyes, get out his lane, get out his sight. But he gon' send his handball, his anger, and his might. The apple of his eye, the remnant walking in that light. A covenant he made, ain't no way he gon' forget. Got out to these, that's where we were before them ships. He gon' plead with us face to face. Bring us out them places we been scared if we gon' taste his grace. We don't deserve it by his son, the holy prince and prince. Second Maccabee, chapter 2, the verses 8. The cloud coming back again, the whole earth gon' shake. As for that place, it be unknown until he had us. The same mountain Moses climbed, see what he had for us. Yeah, up on Nebo, the Mashiach, our hero. Deliverance in his blood, he turned our sins to zero. We can't both saved by grace, ain't no works involved. Put this blood in your life, I'm tired of hurting y'all. That promised land, milk and honey, got a turf for y'all. We bringing the kingdom home, just let it work in y'all. Let it work inside you. I will be sanctified inside you right before your arrival. Sprinkle clean waters on us, cleanse us from these idols. Manifest your son up in us, we gon' trust his Bible. Let us in the wilderness, purge out the rebels. So tired of hurrying up all these cases, we got several. Shaking off this flesh, shaking off these devils, shaking off this dirt out of this graveyard, we special. Got us in the wilderness, purge out the rebels. So tired of hurrying up all these cases, we got several. Shaking off this flesh, shaking off these devils, shaking off this dirt out of this graveyard, we special. Got us in the wilderness.
Good morning, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. How's everybody doing this morning? How's everybody doing this afternoon? Good afternoon, Breaking Strongholds Ministries. Good afternoon, Facebook Live. Good afternoon, YouTube. Good afternoon. I hope everyone is having a great afternoon. I hope that you all you have the Most High have really blessed you over and abundantly with love, kindness, and joy. I hope the Most High really truly blessed you this week and took care of your offspring, gave them wisdom and knowledge and understanding. I hope He has really truly blessed you over and abundantly with peace, kindness, and joy. I hope He really truly has. I hope the Most High have taken the fish scales off your eyes and allowed you to be able to see things the way He wants you to see things. I really truly hope He has, because we're in some times, I say. I didn't come on Wednesday because I didn't get off work until late Wednesday evening, and then Thursday I'm just still dealing with some emotional things that's going on in my life, so I said I ain't gonna even do nothing Thursday, and you know, here I am today. But you know, trying to be able to teach the word of Yahuwah today. I hope I'm able to teach the way He wants me to teach today, and so that you could be able to get what He have for you this this afternoon. If you could turn to the book of Exodus, Shemos 1 through 17, and it reads, "And Ananias spake out these words, saying, I am Yahuwah thy Ananias, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And thou shalt have no other Els or Ananias before me. And thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the water underneath, under the earth. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah thy Ananias, am a jealous Ananias, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. And thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah thy Ananias in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah thy Ananias. In it thou shalt not do any works, thou nor thy sons, nor thy daughter, thy manservants, nor thy maidservants, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days be long upon the land which Yahuwah thy Ananias giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbors, and thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's." Okay. I don't know what my prayer is. But let us do the Lord's Prayer. Oh, here it is. Let us do here we go right here. Eventually I remember it the more I do it. It reads, O creators of the heavens and earth, of our radiance and vibrations, soften the grounds of our beings and carve out a space with us where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity that we may be empowered to bear fruits of our mission. Let each of our actions bear fruit in accordance with our desires within your purpose for our life. Bestow us with the wisdom of produce and share what each being needs to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled thread of destiny that binds us as we release others from the entanglement of the past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which distracts us from our true purpose, but illuminate the opportunities of present moments, for you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the creative power and fulfillment, as all is gathered and made whole once again. So let it be. So good afternoon, Breaking Strongholds Ministries. Good afternoon, Facebook and YouTube. Good afternoon, YouTube Live. Good afternoon. If you could turn to the book of Luke. Turn to the book of Luke. Chapter 21. Verses 20 through 28. 20 through 28. And the key verse is going to be verse 24. The key verse is going to be verse 24. key verse is going to be verse 24. I'm going to say something to you all. If you ever wanted to get a very good Bible, a Bible, this Bible here is a very good, very good Bible. It's called a companion Bible. If you ever wanted to get a very good Bible, get this companion Bible. It is a very good companion Bible. It's a very good study book, study Bible. Okay, and the key verse is verse 24, and it reads, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive to all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of or by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled." Let me read that over. And it says, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled." If I may give a title of the text today, the title of the text today is Prepare for World War III. That is the title of the text today, Prepare for World War III. And the two words today is sign. It's a 13th century word. It means gesture or motion of the hand. It's also a token, something by which another thing is shown or represented. Any visible thing, any motion, appearance, or event which indicate the existence or approach of something else, or something to come. Okay, the second word is instructions. Instructions is a 14th century word. It means actions or proceed or teachings, of teachings. It says the act of teaching or informing, the understanding in that of which it was before. Ignorant or information. Let me read that over. Instructions is actions. Proceed of teachings. The act of teaching or informing the understanding in that of which it was before. Ignorant. Okay, it's basically telling you, because instruction means I'm giving you something because you was ignorant to the fact prior to. Okay, we're talking about the book of Luke. We're talking about the book of Luke. I'm going to read you a little something out of this companion Bible, talking about the book of Luke. It says the notes of Luke gospel. It says a divine purpose in the gospel of Luke is to set forth Yahuwah's, not so much as the Messiah, the King of Israel, as in Matthew gospel, or as Jehovah's servant, as in Mark, but as what he was in Jehovah's sight, as the ideal man. So Luke is talking about Yahusha being an ideal man. He was a natural born person. So that was Luke's perspective in his writings, that he was a natural person. And it says the man whose name is the branch. Then it says in Luke, therefore the Yahuwah is specially presented as the friend of a publican and a sinner, the outcast of society, as manifesting tenderness, compassion, and sympathy, which went beyond the limits of national prejudice. Hence, Luke alone gives the parable of the Good Samaritan, and note that the one leper who gave thanks to God was a Samaritan. Okay, and then it also reads, hence also many references to women who so alien to Jewish customs find frequent and honorable mentions. Elizabeth, Anna, and then it says the ministry women, the daughter of Jerusalem, Martha, Mary, Bethany, Mary of Magdalene. Then it says, it also is talking about, because Jesus was in the book of Luke is talking about his physical side and how he dealt with people, how he dealt with humanity as a person. This is when you're listening to reading the book of Luke. It's talking about his human side and how he dealt with the people and how he dealt with women. Because they said in the Jewish culture, in the Hebrew culture, they didn't really emphasize it in the Bible about how they dealt with women. But in Luke, it's talking about how Jesus really dealt with the women and how he appreciated the women and how women was very important to his ministry in the book of Luke. But I'm also going to say this to you too. I'm reading one of my books called The Trodden Down. It's talking about the interpretation of scriptures and how all of our interpretation of scripture have come from a European perspective and not from a Hebrew culture perspective or a black experience perspective. And because in 325 AD, when Council of Nicaea was formulating the Bible, he put in books only that he wanted to be going to the Bible. Because, like I told y'all once before, he was directing the people in a manner in which he wanted them to go into. So when we're looking at the culture of the Hebrews from the Bible perspective, it's not, women are not mentioned a lot because they wanted to show a male dominance role in the Bible, but not understanding that women had a very important role in the Bible. And that's what the book of Luke is trying to emphasize, that women played a very important role in the ministry or in the life of Christ. We have to understand that these women was very supportive. They was there. They was doing the work just as much as men. But because the Europeans took the Bible and formulated it the way they wanted it to be formulated, and they emphasized what they wanted to emphasize, it gave discredit to the women. Or it didn't emphasize enough on the work of women. And that's what the book of Luke is trying to help bring to the forefront, is the work of women was just as important, because we got to understand who was at the tomb or the sepulchre when Christ, on the first day of the week. It was women that was at the sepulchre or the tomb on the first day of the week when Christ rose or came to them and spoke to them. So that's what Luke was trying to really emphasize a lot about, as women have played a very vital role. But because the society that we live in today, it is very European dominant. It's going to come from a European's perspective and not from an actually true Hebrew perspective. Okay? Then it says, as the ideal man, Yahuwah is presented as dependent on the Father in prayer. Because when it's talking about he's dependent on the Father in prayer, because he's coming to us from a physical form, like we as individuals are dependent on the Father. So just when we're listening to Luke and reading it from Luke, we got to understand that he's coming from the physical realm and not from the Messiah himself. He's coming from an ordinary person. Okay, and then it says now that's good about it. That's about it on that. But in chapter 21 in Luke, it's basically talking about the end times. It's talking about the end times and what's going to happen in the end times, and what we need to be looking for during the end times. And I know that my teachings is all based on end times. That's what my teachings is all about. Yahuwah has given me the responsibility to teach on end times, and that's what I'm doing. I don't call myself a moray, which is a teacher, even though I am a teacher, but I don't lift myself up to be higher than a normal brother. It's just that the Most High have given me abilities to do these things right now at this time. I try not to be a person to say that I'm more than who I am. I'm just an ordinary person just trying to do the work of Yahuwah. Okay? But it's also talking about the end times. And when we go to Luke chapter 21, and it says in verse 8 in chapter 21, it says, "And he said, Take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, or the Messiah, and the time draw near. Go ye not therefore after them." So what the Most High is, what Yahushua is telling his disciples and the people, is that he's going to give you some signs that time is drawing near to the end. And one of the first things he said, how you can know that time is going to draw near, is that we have to go to verse 12 first. How we know time is drawing near is in verse 12 in Luke chapter 21. It says, but before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons. Listen to that part. And into prisons, being brought before the kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your heart, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. Okay? This is the beginning. When you understand that you are being persecuted, this is the beginning of the end times. But you also got to understand that this is considered to be a double prophecy. This is considered to be a double prophecy. And what I mean by double prophecy, in 70 AD, Jerusalem was sacked and torn down by the Gentiles. So this was a prophecy of 70 AD, but it also was a prophecy for the future. Okay? Because the children of Israel was living in Jerusalem at this time right here. The children of Israel was living at this time right here. So this was considered to be like right around 31 AD. Okay, or 33 AD. When he was given this future prophecy of 70 AD, but he also gave a future prophecy of the present time that we're in today. Okay? So one thing he said is that we're talking about signs. It says, before all these things they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you and deliver you up to the synagogues and into prisons. And see, we got to understand that high incarceration rates in the United States increased in the 1960s. When they flooded our communities with crack cocaine. So when they started to put out the increase in prisons started to go up, the numbers of prison, the amount of people that started to go into to be in prison or incarcerated, when that started to go up, when they started to persecute us continuously, that is a sign that we're getting closer to the end times. And then you can go back to verse 8, talking about false religions, because we have to understand that listen to this. In John 14:6, I want you to understand this. The Bible is about a lifestyle, it's about a culture, it's about a tradition, it's about history, it's about numerology, it's about eschatology, it's about everything but man-made religion. Okay, and then it says in John chapter 14 verse 6, it says, Jesus answered, I am the way, that's the lifestyle. The way is the lifestyle, and the truth, and the life. The way he lived his life is the truth. Then it says, no one comes to the Father except through me. Understanding that Yahushua's lifestyle was not about a religion. It was about how we should live our life as human beings, and how mankind should live their life as mankind. So when we understand that the Bible is not a religious book, but it is how we should live our life before leaving earth. Some people say that's what people say the Bible means basic instruction before leaving earth. It is basically how a group of people should live their life before they leave earth. It's not based on religion, because all religions are considered to be man-made. But how you live your life, if you're going to examine the Bible, and if you truly examine it, it tells you how to live. Okay? But let me go back and get you to understand the signs. The signs is, first you're going to have persecution of the children of Israel. Second, you're going to have false prophets to come. Third, you're going to have, in verse 9 it says, but when ye shall hear wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass. But the end is not by and by. That means that it's a process in which things are going to happen to give you a sign to let you know what is actually taking place on the earth, so that you can prepare yourself for the coming of the Messiah. So it's like a woman who's pregnant. Over a period of time, you can tell that this woman is getting ready to have her child, because her stomach grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And at some point, that woman is getting ready to have, after the 9 months is up, the woman is about to have to deliver the baby. It's the same way. That's what we're going through now. Over this time, you can tell that you're seeing these signs and wonders on the earth. You're seeing these signs and wonders on the earth. And this is the reason why, this is the reason why he said, this this is why he said this. And I want us to understand something. For your, it says in 1 Thessalonians 5, 1 through 4, but I'm just going to read the one verse that I need. It says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 1 and 2, it says, "But the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourself know perfectly that the day of Yahuwah so cometh as a thief in the night." So it's unexpectedly that the day of Yahuwah is, but we don't know the specific day, but we know the seasons that he will come, because he's given us notifications, or he's given us signs throughout the whole earth. Because it also tells you that you're going to have wars and commotions. And then he said you're going to have nations shall rise against nations and kingdoms against kingdoms. Then he says great earthquakes shall be in divers places, famine and pestilence and fearful sights and great signs shall be there from heaven. Okay, so these are the things that we should be looking for in order to understand the coming of the Messiah. But the season that we're in now is preparing us for the trotting down of Jerusalem because of verse 24. Now I want us to understand something. We're still going to have a little bit more time after the Most High deals with the Gentiles that are in Jerusalem right now. Let me go to Genesis chapter 10 verse. Genesis chapter 10. Because we first got to understand who are the Gentiles. Because if you are a black person, you are considered to be, and you call yourself a Gentile, you calling yourself a Gentile because you are a wicked person and you're not doing the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahuwah. Or from what the Christian church say, you have fallen from grace. Okay? But let me tell you by nations who are the Gentiles. Okay, and it says, "Now the generation of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tarish." Then it says, these are considered to be the European nations. Then it goes down a little bit further. It says the Gomer, the Ashkenaz, the Raphan, and the two Gomers. Then it goes on again. It says another lineage, the son of Javan, Eshelah, Tarish, Kittim, and Dudaman. Okay, these three verses are identifying European people. Okay, and why I say that the Europeans are considered to be Gentiles? Let's go to verse 5. It says, "By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided into their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations." So when we're talking about the Gentiles, we're talking about European people. Because right now, European people are controlling Jerusalem and that area over there in the state of Israel. Okay? So let us go back to Luke so that we can talk about this a little bit more. Because the Most High is basically giving us instructions on what we should and shouldn't be doing at this time right now. we should be seeing the signs in the sky, but how we should be acting in the midst of these signs. Okay? Because I want us to understand something. If or when Iran attacks Israel, all hell gonna break loose. And it's not because of anything, but this is Yahuwah's will. That is something we got to get here. This is Yahuwah's will that all these things must happen. Okay? Let me read you one more verse and then I'm going to go ahead and get started with the text. Because I want us to understand something. I want us to understand something. Isaiah 55 and 11. I say this all the time. In Isaiah 55 and 11, I say this all the time. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the things whereto I sent it. So everything that we're seeing on the earth today that's dealing with the nations of people, this is Yahuwah making things happen. So this is something that we have to understand as a people. This is not man's will. This is Yahuwah's will. Man is just being an instrument for Yahuwah. So all of us are all of us are an instrument for Yahuwah and his purpose. Okay? So now when we go to Luke chapter 21 verse 20, right? I want us to understand something. The first verse is talking about signs. The first verse is talking about signs. It says in Luke chapter 21 verse 20, it's talking about signs. It says, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. The word compass means to encircle or surround. The word nigh means to be near. And I'm not trying to insult your intelligence if y'all already knew, but I'm just bringing it out. Okay. When ye shall see Jerusalem surrounded with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is near. That is a sign for us to be able to pay attention to, because the Most High wants us to be aware of what's going on in the world. Okay, so when we're looking at this, the sign, I went to Google Maps, right? And I went and looked at who is surrounding the state of Israel as of today. Okay? I see Syria is surrounding Israel, who Israel has continued to bomb. I see Lebanon, who Israel is continuing to make a war with on the northern front. I see Iraq, who is surrounding Israel. I see Saudi Arabia, who is surrounding Israel. I see Yemen, who is surrounding Israel. I see Egypt, who is surrounding Israel. And I see Turkey, who is surrounding Israel. Understand those. You got Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Egypt. Okay? So, one of the first questions I ask you, I say, is Saudi Arabia allies with Israel? In spite of having official diplomatic relations, they cooperate with each other by intelligence exchange, especially about Iran. Because Iran and Saudi Arabia do not get along. And then I went down, I said, hold on, let me see something. Okay. Um, then I went down, and I said, how does Saudi Arabia reacts to Israel, how they deal with the Palestinian people? Then it says, according to response, the Saudis' popular attitude towards the outcome of the war is clear. The overwhelming majority of 91% express agreement with the statement that despite the destruction and the loss of life, this war in Gaza is a win for the Palestinians, Arabs, and Muslims, as for the role of the border of Arabs. So Saudi Arabia do not like what Israel is doing to the people in Palestine. So Saudi Arabia do not like it. Okay? Then I'm going to Egypt. Egypt has improved significantly between Israel and Egypt. Now it says relations have improved significantly between Israel and Egypt after the removal of Massa from the office in July 2013, with closely military cooperation over the Sinai insurgency. Notably, Israel had permitted Egypt to increase its number of troops deployed in the Sinai Peninsula beyond the terms of the peace treaty. We have to understand that in 1967, they call it the 6-Day War, where Israel destroyed Egypt. So Egypt really do not like Israel. Nobody that is surrounding Israel really likes Israel because they know that Israel is not the chosen people. They know that the Balfour Declaration was a conjured up scheme to take the land from the Palestinian people. Everybody out there knows that nobody likes Israel. Okay? So you got Saudi Arabia, who don't really like or agree with what's going on in Israel. Egypt do not like what's going on in Palestine, and also Egypt has a conflict with Israel because of what they did to them in 1967. Then it says also it says Jordan. It says Jordan. I say, is Jordan's support of Israel and Palestine. Promoting peace between Israel and the Palestinian Authority is a major priority for Jordan. It supports U.S. efforts to mediate a final settlement, which believes should be passed on the 2002 Arab Peace Initiative, proposed by Saudi Arabia. So Jordan really do not like what's actually taking place in Gaza or in Palestine. Because what's happening is Israel is slowly and surely pushing the Palestinian off their land. And everybody in the Far East, what they call the Middle East, knows that those Jewish people should not be over there in that land. But they took it because of the Balfour Declaration. So everybody do not like it. Syria is being robbed of oil by Israel. The United States and Israel is taking Syria's land. Lebanon is being tortured by Israel. So when you're looking at it, everybody that is surrounding Israel, Israel had done some very horrific things to them in order for them to get where they are today. So when it says in Luke chapter 21 verse 20, and when you shall see Jerusalem circled or surrounded with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh, that is near. And the reason why it's near is because all these countries do not like Israel because of what they have done to the Middle East or the Far East. And all these countries are upset and angry with Israel right now. Or who you call the Israelis. Because they went in there and actually took the land from the people. Okay, so this is a sign. When you see all these countries that are surrounding Israel, and there you see, and also Israel is fighting on 7 fronts. Israel is fighting Gaza. Israel is fighting Syria. Israel is fighting the West Bank. Israel is fighting Lebanon. Israel is fighting Iraq. Israel is fighting Iran. Israel is fighting Yemen. Israel is fighting all these nations of people at one time. And Israel just deleted one of Iran's top members of the government. That's why Iran is saying that we're getting ready to retaliate. And it's going to be a very dramatic and dangerous and very impactful retaliation against the Israelis because of what they did to the Iranian government official. So when you're starting to look at it, Israel have really dug a grave for themselves because of what they did. But they are looking for the U.S. to help them get out of this situation. But it's only going to continue to dig a hole for the Israelis and the G7 nations and the United States itself. But let us go to 2 Kings, because I want you to understand what I mean by the surrounding or the sign. The sign is that they are surrounding the country. Israel is surrounded. Israel is surrounded by all these. Israel is surrounded by their enemies. And it ain't really nothing that they can do. 2 Kings chapter 24. Okay? I'm just going to read verses 1 through 3 because I want us to understand. These nations are surrounding. Then I'm going to chapter 25. It says in 2 Kings chapter 24 verses 1 through 3, it says, in his days, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar. And Yahuwah sent against him bands of the Chaldeans, and bands of the Syrians, bands of the Moabites, and bands of the children of Ammon, and sent them against Judah to destroy it, according to the words of Yahuwah, which he spake by his servant the prophets. Surely at the commandments of Yahuwah came this upon Judah, to remove them out of his sight for the sins of Manasseh, according to all that he did. Because you look at all these nations of people, right? All these nations of people are surrounding the children of Israel or Judah. They are surrounding them. All of them are not in one location. All of them are surrounding. Let us go to chapter 25 in 2 Kings. Verses 1 and 2. Because I want us to understand when we're talking about surrounded, if you look at what's going on in the Middle East today, and you look at all these countries are surrounding Israel. And okay, in 2 Kings chapter 25, verses 1 and 2, and it said, and it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his armies against Jerusalem, and pitched against it. And they built forts against it round about. So what happened is how Babylon was able to conquer Jerusalem is that he used all those people and they circled around Jerusalem so nobody can go out and nobody can come in. And then also what Babylon did is they cut out the water, they cut out the food, they cut off everything so that nothing can come in and nothing can go out. That is actually what's getting ready to happen in Israel or in the Israelis, because you are completely surrounded by everybody who you tortured or you had conflicts with in your past life. Look at the 6-day war with Egypt. Egypt hasn't forgot about that. Egypt president said that they left out black and they came back white, and the following couple of years he had a heart attack and died. That was in Egypt. Iraq do not get along. Saudi Arabia really don't get along. Iran really don't get along. Lebanon, Syria do not get along with these people. So they have completely surrounded them. Okay, let us go to Jeremiah chapter 6, because I want you to understand the sign is that Israel is surrounded by their enemies. And they caused it on themselves to be this way. This little small 5 million group of people is torturing the whole Middle East over a lie when they say that they are the chosen people, when we all know that African American people are the chosen people that was scattered to the four corners of the earth through the ships. Jeremiah chapter 6 verses 3 through 6, it says, "The shepherds with their flocks shall come unto her. They shall pitch their tents against her round about." Anytime you want to conquer somebody, you got to surround them in order for you to be able to conquer them. "They shall feed everyone in his place. Prepare ye war against her. Arise, let us go up at noon. Woe unto us, for the day goeth away, for the shadows of the evenings are stretched out. Arise, let us go by night, and let us destroy her palaces. For thus has Yahuwah of hosts said, Heave ye down trees and cast a mount against Jerusalem. This is the city to be visited. She is woefully oppressed in the midst of her." I want us to understand that everybody had to surround their enemies in order to conquer their enemies. And I'm giving you the first point is I want you to understand the sign. The sign is Jerusalem, or the Israelis are surrounded by her enemies. And the United States really cannot really be able to help this nation of people, no matter what they try to do. Let us go to Luke chapter 19. Verse 43. I'm going to read verses 41 through 44. Okay, and it says, "And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it." Yahshua, when he saw the city, he wept over the city, saying, "If thou hast known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hidden from thy eyes." Listen to this. "For the day shall come upon thee, that thy enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and circle thee round, or compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side, and keep thee in on every side, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not thy time of thy visitations. The reason why we're getting ready to see these horrific experiences in the Middle East is because, first, these are really not the true people of Israel. Second, because the sins that they have committed all around the world. Understand that. They have committed so many atrocities all around the world. If you research these people, you'll be astonished at the wickedness that they have caused people. Okay? So let us go back to Luke chapter 20, 21 verses 21 to 22. What this verses 21 is talking about is instructions. This is what he wants us to do during this time period. This time period is for, this verse 21 is for that time period of 70 AD. But now also, I want us to understand something. I had a friend, let me say this to you. These migrants that's here in the United States, New York City just found out that they were smuggling weapons to all the food banks where the migrants are. I want you to understand that. In New York City, they have found out that the migrants that have these places that have food banks for the migrants, these food banks are smuggling weapons to these food banks for the migrants. I want you to understand that. The same thing that's going on in Venezuela today is going to happen here in America, because it says that they have over 300,000, right?
Or more.
Yeah, 300. I'm just giving it over 300. I don't want to get no specific number, because then people say, oh, that ain't the right number. But over 300,000 Venezuelans are here in America, and they was part of that influx of immigrants that come to the United States. Understand that. Venezuelans, the migrants that coming into the country, over 300,000 Venezuelans are here. And then they are at the Venezuelans are at these food banks. Understand that. And there are weapons being smuggled to these food banks. Understand that. And EBT cards and all this other, they getting a lot of stuff. But understand this, the CIA is down in Venezuela right now causing a civil unrest. And Venezuela know this. So what do you think going to happen here in the United States? The same thing that's going on in Venezuela is going to be the same thing that happens here in the United States. It's going to be a civil unrest, because it says in the Most High is not marked, you shall reap what you have sown. If you're going to cause chaos and commotion in Venezuela, believe me and you, Venezuelans are going to cause a civil unrest here in the Americas. Okay? So it says, and this is instructions for us. In verse 21 it says, then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the country enter therein too. Because what he's doing is telling us, he's saying, everybody going to have to get ready to flee the country because of what's getting ready to happen in 70 AD. But we also going to have to flee the United States because of what's going on with the civil unrest. It says, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. See, understanding that it says, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things that which are written may be fulfilled. That is in Revelation chapter 17, that the whore must be destroyed. America and the G7 nations are considered to be the whore, the beast. And everything that the United States have done, it got to receive. You reap what you sow. So in 21, the Most High is telling us to flee America, because vengeance is getting ready to come to America. Because the Most High is tired of the sins that has been taking place on the earth. Okay? Then it says in verse 23, it says, but woe unto them that are with child, and to them that are to give suck, in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. It's going to be great distress. It was great distress in 70 AD. It's going to be great distress in Israel when they attacked, when Iran attacked them. But it's also going to be great distress here in the United States, because they have allowed over 16 million that they know of here in the United States, undocumented illegal immigrants. And all these people are military age people. You got over 16 million military age people over here in the United States that are undocumented, and they're smuggling weapons into the country. Then it says, and they shall fall by the... But I want us to understand that thought process. I want us to understand that. I want us to understand what's actually taking place. Some people said it's been 40 million. Some people say it's 16 million. But I'm just saying it's 16 million. Undocumented military age migrants that's here in the United States. 300 and some thousand documented are from Venezuela. They just found weapons up at a food bank up in New York City that is smuggling weapons to the migrants up in New York. Now, if they're doing it in New York, believe me and you, they're doing it in every major city where these migrants are. Understand that. Second point, Gentiles. Because Palestine was considered the Far East, or Africa, the continent of Africa is considered to be the land of Ham. Ham is considered to be, the definition of the word Ham is dark race people. If you look at the name of Egypt and all these names of the countries, it's identified as a black face. So, like I said earlier, the word Gentile means Europeans. Okay, so now when we're looking at verse 24, it says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword. Talking about the Hebrew people. We're going to fall by the edge. We're going to continue to be killed or deleted by the sword or by a weapon, and shall be led captive away into all nations. Okay, hear that. Let us go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. It says, if we're going to be led captive and led away and put into captivity to all nations, right? In Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 16 it says, and Yahuwah shall bring thee into slavery again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. And thou shalt see it no more again, your homeland no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So that portion of that verse in Luke chapter 21 verse 24 is talking about how we're going to be led away. We're going to be led away through ships. We're going to be on ships, led to all nations of people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, by the weapon, and shall be led away captive to all nations. How? By Deuteronomy 28 and 68. By ships. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Okay. How do we know when the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled? Let us go to Genesis chapter 15 verse 13. Because I don't know people. I don't know what you know and what you don't know. But the people I have talked to, they was not able to associate what happened in 2019 to biblical prophecy. And the reason why they wasn't able to associate what happened in 2019 to biblical prophecy is because they consider themselves to be Gentiles. People never associate themselves with being up under a curse. They never thought any of those things. Okay? So, in Genesis chapter 15 verse 13, and it reads, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. So during the time of 1619 to 2019, that's when the 400-year prophecy ended, or the curses of the 400 years of cursing was ended.
Right.
So we have to understand that. The 400-year prophecy ended in 2019, but a lot of people was not able to comprehend that because they continue to associate themselves to the American economy or to the United States as a whole, or they associate themselves with a Gentile nation. People cannot disconnect from the United States. They are connected to the United States, but not looking at the whole picture as being enslaved people. And it was all because of how they've been taught as a group of people. Okay, so now, let me go back to Luke, because I want to read some of this. I ain't got that much time left. But let us go to Luke chapter 21, verse 24. It says, and they shall be led by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. Jerusalem shall be trodden down. Listen to that part. Jerusalem shall be trodden down by the Europeans until the time of the Europeans be fulfilled. Okay, let us go to Isaiah chapter 49. Because I want us to understand something. That's who's running Israel, or the Israelis are running that country over there now. Isaiah chapter 49 verse 6 and 7, it reads, and he said, it is a light thing that thou should be my servant to raise up the tribe of Judah, of Jacob, and to restore the preserve of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou may be my salvation, that thou mayest be my protection unto the end of the earth. Thus saith Yahuwah, the Redeemer of Israel and his holy ones, to him whom man despises, to him whom the nation abhors or hate, to a servant of rulers, king shall see and arise, prince also shall worship, because Yahuwah that is faithful, and the Holy One of Israel, he shall choose thee. But I want us to understand something. All these things are happening right now so that the Gentiles could really understand what's actually taking place. He said, it is a light thing that thou shalt be my servant to raise up the tribe of Jacob and to restore the preserve of Israel. I will also give thee for a light. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou may be my salvation unto the end of the earth. We're supposed to, right now, what you're getting ready to see is that we're going to truly be a light to the Gentiles because of what they're getting ready to go through. Let us go to Malachi 1 and 11. Because for years, the Gentiles have really truly thought that they was teaching the way they supposed to be teaching, but in actuality, they were just intentionally misinterpreting scriptures for their purpose and their benefit. It says, for from the rising of the sun even unto the going down of the same, my name shall be great among the Gentiles. Understand that. This is the season and time for the Gentiles to really truly understand judgment, because they haven't had judgment for over 2,000 years. They haven't had judgment for over 2,000 years. It says, from the rising of the sun even unto the going down of the same, my name shall be great among the Gentiles. And in every place incense shall be offered unto my name, and a pure offering for my name shall be great among the heathens, saith Yahuwah of hosts. Everything that we see now is about judgment on the Gentiles because of what they have done and what they continue to do around the world. Let us go to Romans chapter 11. Because my first 11 and 25. Because the first point is to see the signs that Israel is being surrounded. And then the second point is who's controlling Israel is the Gentiles. Because they only supposed to be controlling Israel for a certain period of time, which is 70 years. Okay. Romans 11 and 25, it reads, For I would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of these mysteries, lest ye should be wise in your own conceit, that blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. Everybody started waking up in 2019. Everybody started waking up in 2019. I was talking to one of my managers at work, and we was having a conversation. And you can turn back to Luke chapter 21 too. We was having a conversation, and I said, because we was talking about the Bible, and he was like, man, I said, man, I stopped going to church in 2019. He didn't understand what he was saying, but I understood completely what he was saying. He said, I stopped going to church in 2019. I said, wow.
I said, why you start going to church in 2019? He said, man, because they say Jesus looked like this, but in the Bible he said his hair was wool and his feet like burnt bread. But he was just associating the identity of the Mashiach to color, but he did not understand that most people started waking up in 2019 because the curses was broken. But I couldn't elaborate that with him because the simple fact is we was at work. But most people started, those who are woken, they woke up around 2019. That's when the curses was taken off of us. Okay? Then now we're in Luke chapter 21 verse 25 through 28. It says, and there shall be a sign in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. These are signs that we should recognize. These are signs. Men's hearts failing them for fear, and looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the power of heaven shall be shaken. Listen to that again. Men's hearts failing them for fear. Because right now, everybody is afraid of what they see. I can see people talking, man. Some guys dodge me at work because the simple fact is, they so afraid of what is actually taking place on the earth. They know they need to be preparing. They know they need to be doing this and doing that. But they're so afraid of what's going on the earth, they don't even know how to respond to it. They're so afraid and timid right now, they don't even know how to respond to it. I said, well, man, it's one guy on the job. I said, well, man, I can teach you how to do certain things. He said, no, I don't want to learn. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And every time the guy see me, he run. It's like I tell people on YouTube and Facebook. I teach on Facebook, hey, if you want to learn how to start a fire, you want to learn it, none of you all say anything because you're afraid of what's coming on the earth and you don't really know how to prepare for it. It says, and there shall be a sign in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth, the stress of nations. Listen to that. Distress of nations with perplexity, confusion, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. People are really afraid because they are so afraid of what's going on. People say, man, when I get home, I don't go back outside. I stay in the house. Shoot, I ain't going back out there, man. There's so much violence out there, everybody killing. Man, I ain't doing that no more. I'm staying in the house. Man, I ain't going to no restaurant, man. Shoot, no, man. You don't know what's going to happen. Man, when I get home, I stay at home. That's what I hear people say all the time. And then it says, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and with great glory. In the last verse, it reads, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your head, for your redemption draw near. And what the Most High is saying is right now, the only thing we really haven't seen was a great earthquake. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a great earthquake to happen. We already seen it. We already seen the stars and the moon and the stars. The sun, the moon, and the stars. We're seeing all that. We just haven't seen a great earthquake. We're seeing all the other commotions on the earth. It's already famine and pestilence. It's going to even get worse than that. But let us turn to, because I want us to understand something. Even when we see World War III happen, we got to understand that redemption is getting closer. Redemption is getting closer. Okay? Our redemption is getting closer. Okay? It's getting closer. What does redemption mean? Redemption means repurchase of captured good or prisoners. Listen to that. Listen to that. When he says, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your head, for your redemptions draw near. What does redemption mean? Redemption means repurchase of captured goods or prisoners. The act of procuring the deliverance of persons or things from the possessions and power of captors by the payment of an equivalent ransom release as the redemption of prisoners taken in war. Okay? Redemption means deliverance from bondage, distress, or liabilities to an evil or fortress, either by money, labor, or other means. What he's saying when that word redemption means is that we get ready to be delivered out of the oppression that is going on in the world. But the Most High have to go through these steps and give us these. He's given us these signs, but he's also given us instructions. He's given us signs and he's given us instructions. He's telling us to flee, but also we got to prepare. Okay? Let me read you Malachi 3 and 17 and 18. Malachi 3, 17, 18. It says, and they shall be mine, saith Yahuwah of hosts. In that day when I make up my jury, I will spare them, as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. And then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth Anani and him that serveth him not. So what the Most High is getting ready to do is just, he's getting ready to deliver his people out of the oppression, but he's going to allow certain people to continue to go through that, and other people won't. And see, I was in prayer this morning, right? And the Most High, I was in prayer this morning, and it was heavy on me because of what's getting ready to happen over there, and hope what's going on over there in Israel and Iran and all these countries. What's happening in all those countries. And I was stressful because the moment that Iran strike Israel and Israel strike Iran, I'm going to the grocery store to buy some more supplies, because I know it's going to be havoc in the world. But the Most High said to me in my prayer, he said, people have to suffer because they did not listen to my prophets. Didn't I tell you that this morning? Mm-hmm. People have to suffer because they did not listen to my prophets. That's what he said this morning to me in prayer. And I didn't want to do that because I see people are suffering now. But the reason why people are suffering is because you didn't take heed to what the prophets were saying. You had some false prophets before the curses, and then you had some end time prophets after the curses. You should have been listening to the end time prophets after 2019. And when you hear people say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite and I'm come on and teach you the word, you should be listening to them guys because they are end time prophets. I'm not saying that they are perfect, but they are really truly teaching you the authenticity of the Bible. We are end time prophets. And what we have told you, if you have done anything that I have asked you to do, and if you have done, if I told you don't take that, and you didn't take it, you fine. But if you took it, you got some stuff going on. Unless they gave you a saline water. So you have to listen to the end time prophets right now. And last one, Ephesians 4:30. It says, grieve not the Holy Spirit of Ananias, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. So the signs are that the Gentiles are being encircled. And it's also because of your redemption draws near. We getting ready to be delivered out of the situations that's going on in the earth. But let me pray so we can go. Abba, as we come to you today, we thank you, we bless you, we praise you, we give you all the honor and the glory. Abba, we thank you for everything you have done and what you continue to do, Abba. We just ask that you continue to be with us and continue to seal us in our foreheads with your words so that we can be able to do your will and your purpose, Abba. We ask that you continue to just protect us and heal us and guide us so that we could be able to survive, endure until the end. Abba, let us be able to hear your words. Let us be able to speak your words. Let us hear the way you want us to hear, see the way you want us to see, and speak the way you want us to speak. But also, Father Abba, let us be able to treat our neighbors as ourselves in this day and time. Let us be able to help people along the way. Let us have patience. Let us have guidance. Let us be able to do your will in our life. And protect us as we travel the highways and byways next week. But Abba, if Iran returns retaliation to Israel, let that be a sign to your people that they need to prepare because you're drawing near. And all these things we pray, so let it be. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Y'all have a great one.
Up in that land until we back in it. Jeremiah chapter 30, they do not fit it. Revelation 2 and 9, ain't no cap in it. Break the yoke up off our necks, really happening. Look what happened when the slaves start returning back. He fighting for his commandment, keep us observing that. The dragon wrought with the woman, we discerning that. But we overcome it by his blood, we ain't turning back now. Dead to the law so we can live again. Can't no priest stone me cause they ain't innocent. The only one, the holy one, no blemishes. The great I am, they orchestrated the Genesis. I'm grateful for the Son, cause he finished the eternal life is in his Son, if you listening. The sheep follow the shepherd wherever he goes, chasing this living water wherever it flows. Eyes to the east, making sure no level try to rise up in me. It's almost time to free, we got eyes we can see. They called us by word, to them slaves on the streets. Now we coming back as priests. We taking the kingdom, we ain't asking y'all. When the smoke clear, who gon' be here asking long? Heavenly Father, please protect us while we fleeing exit. Israel, we about to see everything that he had for y'all. He gon' break a promise, repent and give him the honor. Woke us up at the end, we blowing trumpets alarm. Fighting off all these things, getting ready for harvest. The king coming back and he ain't playing. The reward coming, is your riches up in heaven? Did you store some? On the clouds, the son of man, get a door coming. Every word, you gon' judge the cat. Ignore nothing, can't ignore nothing. Please protect us while you see your hand. We know judgment gotta come, that's how you heal the land. Hold on to the promise, we can feel the pain. All nations about to kneel to the Son of Man. Let your kingdom come, let your will be done. Let your kingdom come, come your will be done. Let your kingdom come, come your will be done. Let your kingdom come, and your will be done. Let your kingdom come.